If we were to take our experience, and if we could broadly categorize the three types of experience that we have, you could say that we have pleasant experiences, we have unpleasant experiences, and we have neutral experiences. And if we were to try and quantify our experiences, so looking at the pleasant experiences, what we would typically call happy experiences, when we're getting the pay raise, we're getting the promotion, graduating, going on holiday, when we meet our soulmate, we're getting married, maybe our children are getting married, we would experience these as pleasant experiences. And while I don't have an exact number, there's not a scientific number on this, I would suggest that probably our overall experience, about 10 to 15% of our experience is in the pleasant conditions category. And then if we look at the unpleasant conditions, we're probably about 10 to 15% as well, somewhere in that general category, when we got dumped, we screwed up at work, we lost some money, we got criticized, our holiday got canceled, the car broke down, that we're probably experiencing these types of conditions, again, roughly 10 to 15%. I know some people, it looks like they have a lot of bad luck, and some people look like they have a lot of good luck, but in general, I think we can kind of say that the outside of this, the pleasant and the unpleasant, are somewhere between total around 20-30% of our experience, which leaves a lot of room in the middle for our neutral experiences, for the mundane experiences, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, showering, doing our hair, putting on our makeup, paying the bills, running errands, preparing meals, a lot of driving to work, driving back from work. The bulk of our experience is mundane. And yet, we have been fed this narrative that we should be ecstatically happy all of the time. And if we're not, well, then something must be wrong with us. And we've been brainwashed with this since we were children, with all the fairy tales, when the prince finally, frees the princess or marries the princess, it's happily ever after. When they save the world, the planet, they overcome the challenge, that's where it ends. And then it's happily ever after. And it's the same in our movies. Again, when the boy and the girl finally get together, and then it's happily ever after. When you save the planet, and then it's happily ever after. We're left believing that they reached this pinnacle state of happiness, and that's where it stayed. And of course, it's the same way in all the commercials that we've been seeing since we were children. The Coca-Cola commercials. How happy do these people look? We can be sitting there drinking Coca-Cola right now and think I'm not that happy. So, we see these experiences, they're continuously seeing these images of people being happy, doing ordinary things, driving their new car, always imagining as if somehow these pleasant conditions are going to give them the happiness that lasts. And so if we look at the gap between our expectations of how much we should be happy and the reality of how much we really are happy, there's a massive gap in there. And in that gap is a lot of disappointment, a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of suffering, because we believe we should always be ecstatically happy. And yet all of the science of happiness tells us that we are wildly off in predicting what's going to make us happy. Even when we get all worked up and we're striving for some bonus and we're killing ourselves trying to get this bonus. And we have the moment of excitement. Yay, I hit the mark. I hit my metric and I'm going to get the bonus. But a week later, or 2 weeks when the money finally hits our bank account, we just look at it and we're like, all right, I'm already used to it. Or if we get some award and it's exciting and we get that award and we feel really good, we got the praise. And on that night when we get all the accolades and it feels really good. But then the next day, it's kind of like, still just feels like me again. It wasn't enough. What next? So we keep looking, and this is the happiness trap, right? That keep the struggle of keep thinking like, well, this didn't quite do it, but maybe the next thing. Because we cannot deny these images, the imprint that they have left in our brains of always believing happiness is outside of us. And of course, you're all on this call because you know it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You know it doesn't last. It doesn't work. And so if we're being honest, we really need to have a new definition of happiness, to not believe it's just these exciting high time moments, because that's a really small part of our experience. But instead, to look at our experience and think, where am I really the most happy? Where do I feel happiest? What is my new definition of happiness? And I would suggest it's when you're at peace, when we're content, when we're not having this struggle to get something, to think our happiness is over there. It's the absence of that struggle that's peaceful, that feels so good, because we're present. We're here living in this moment. And we know that the more present we are, the more at peace we are, the more joy we find in the mundane moments. When we're doing the dishes and there's just a harmony, a flow, because there's no struggle. There's no believing that happiness is on the other side of getting the dishes done. And in the absence of that, of being present with doing the dishes, we feel that joy, that harmony of just doing the dishes. And if we're doing our errands and we're present and we feel at peace and we don't fool ourselves into believing, I'll be so happy when I get everything done on my list. But if we stay present, we're just as peaceful and content when we're getting the first errand done as we are when we get the last errand done. And there's more joy in the mundane moments. We're driving about and we're stuck at a traffic light, and instead of, oh my God, I've got to get over there, maybe we look and we see a bird in the sky. We just follow it soaring through the sky, and there's a little joy. Or maybe even just looking at the person in the car next to you, and there's a smile, a moment of connection. There's a moment of joy. In mundane moments, most of our experience is mundane moments. And it doesn't matter. You can be J-Lo, you